can you pay attention?
What?
Could you think was going to be the first kid out of the three of us to get married?
Claudia, obviously.
No, from when we were little kids. Like if you had to guess.
I can't
Still
remember.
me.
Yeah, I think still
She said,
probably
"You're
Claudia.
weird and you're weird.
Wait, why Claudia?
No one will date
Doesn't
you."
mean weird.
You thought we were weird? You thought me and Kendi were weird?
I didn't say that. She just said that.
Yeah,
No,
but
she definitely
Claudia.
thought I was weird.
you were pretty weird.
No, we were all weird.
Hey, I know
Honestly.
I'm not normal.
We were all weird. No, I probably would have said you because you were older.
Mm.
I probably
I didn't think there
would've
was
said
anything.
you.
I thought you were all very
Mm.
traditional.
Me
Grow
and
up,
Brandon
get
were late
married.
bloomers.
Grow up, get a boyfriend or girlfriend, get married, have kids.
I'm a late bloomer.
Yeah.
You are.
In which way? I went through puberty at like
Listen,
19.
I've been having conversations
That's-
about
that's
you
not
with people.
normal.
I think you're a savant.
What is that?
Savant.
Yeah.
Sounds like a singer.
Autistic.
He's really good at one thing, but bad at everything.
Wait, is that what it means? No, I think like
What?
I think he's just like there's something in your brain that just makes you like really good at everything.
Oh, thank you, Kendi. That's the kindest thing you've ever said to me.
That's not true.
Probably.
I don't think
I'm
he's
very
really,
nice.
he's not
Look at
really
all
good
these
at
things. What the-
everything.
I do.
Can you just agree with your sister?
No.
Like a good
I
human?
think you're very talented and skilled.
I think everybody has things that they're
Thank
good
you,
at,
Kennedy.
but obviously there's things
Wait,
you're bad
there's a
at.
saying, something, master of none. What is that
What?
saying?
a friend.
Yes,
to
jack of all
all,
trades, master
a
of
friend
none.
to none.
I know many people like that.
What, you're trying to say I'm like that? Huh?
No.
So,
Okay, so Claudia had this engagement party right after Jesse proposed to her. And Jesse's over there right now. Hi, Jesse.
Hi.
We love you, Jesse.
Love you all too.
Claudia had a Claudia and Jesse had a party at their house, and my mom and dad haven't seen each other
Oh right.
in quite a long
yeah.
time, and we're talking like 10, 15
Oh my god, yeah,
years.
nobody knows this.
yeah, people are commenting like my wedding is going to be the reunion, but they already have
No,
the
Yeah,
reunion.
It happened.
So I've been making YouTube videos. Everyone's been making YouTube videos for like it's been like 5 or 6 years now or something.
5, I
And-
think, right?
Yeah, and in the comments all the time they're like, "Can your parents please meet? Can they please meet? I want to see them meet. Can you make them like be in a video together? Blah blah blah." And it was always too awkward.
Listen, I
still awkward.
don't have a single memory of seeing you and dad speak to each other.
I do at my 5th grade graduation.
I don't even have that.
You weren't there.
I know, but like
Was that filmed? Was that on camera or
How
anything?
would that be on
No,
camera?
not
I
like if we
remember-
just like videoed anything.
We have,
Sometimes
I have
like
photos.
we would have a video camera
Dad
a
did
lot.
come to my
He
5th
wasn't
grade
there.
graduation,
No.
but I don't remember you guys speaking. And then I wanted so
That's
badly.
so weird.
I was talking to somebody when I saw you come over to it, and I was like, it's probably better that I don't even listen to anything they're saying because it was probably awkward as hell.
Oh, what, at the party?
Yeah.
No, I stood there and listened. It was
Yeah,
awkward
Claudia
as
was
hell.
like literally like
I was
right
just
next to-
standing next to dad, like trying to help with the awkwardness, but like mom wouldn't stop just staring at dad, like waiting for him to say something.
Yeah, he's
and
so
dad like
awkward.
wasn't. You
Aiden,
were just
why are you so
looking
awkward?
around.
The last I remember, actually, I don't even remember you and Dad ever being together. The last I remember is when we lived in like a house in
You don't
like
remember it at
Manchester
all,
together.
Brandon?
Really?
You were pretty old when they got divorced.
I don't think I blocked it from my mind.
I guess you guys wouldn't really know.
shit
Well, exactly, because you guys would argue so much before you got divorced that's all I remember. So I think I just blocked it out.
I have memories of not of like mom and dad interacting, but of when we lived
think
like
the
all
older-
together at a house. I have a memory of The Sopranos being on when dad was like
Lovely.
with us one night. You were
Oh,
out.
this was crazy.
Yeah, that
somewhere.
pissed me off because I didn't want you guys
I remember
watching.
being a little kid,
Sopranos,
and then
like-
Sopranos was super inappropriate. There's like a ton of sex
Completely.
scenes. And I
And-
remember just watching
and
my dad and
killing.
the sex scene was playing, and I was like 7, and I was
See,
just
that
like,
was always normal to me because I was born the last, so everyone cared the least about what I consumed. And
yeah, you were really.
I remember
probably saw
when I
something
was.
like
Yeah,
two.
that's why I'm not fucking normal.
Yeah, that's 100%.
And
That's not why.
that's why.
It's
yeah,
maybe one of the reasons.
it's
But
definitely one of them.
She was exposed to everything when she was like
I
a toddler,
was.
pretty
And
much.
also, I remember when I was in, I think it was 2nd grade, I was at lunch and there was these 2 twins who were like overly sexual. And I remember they were like, do you guys know what sex is? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, and I was like, do you know what it is? And he was like, yes, when two adults go on top of each other and go up and down. And I was like, idiot. That ain't what it is.
well, sorta.
Yeah, but they didn't have the full story.
No.
I remember the first time that I saw porn was in 7th grade. This kid, you can probably, do you remember him, Cory? You'll probably bleep his name. I went to his house.
Yeah, do not put his name.
It was
in.
he was weird, dude. I was always friends with the really weird kids. It was him, Tucker, and then this other kid, Michael. No, not him. This kid, Michael. And it was the first time I slept over a kid's house. I was in like 7th grade, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be like I was really uncomfortable because I was so like we weren't
I
sheltered.
don't even remember you sleeping out at anybody's house.
Yeah, I can't believe I did it. It was insane.
I can't believe
For
you
me,
did
that was
either.
like mind blowing.
I
was,
don't
like, shaking
remember
the whole
that.
night.
We were homeschooled when we were kids and stuff. Like we didn't like hang out with
See, that's
that
the
many
thing.
kids
I
that
wasn't
often.
homeschooled. You know, Joe said
Yeah,
I
you
give
kinda
I
were.
give homeschooled vibes.
You kind of were though, because they were
You give like homeschool.
She was
mom
not. Kenny was
vibes.
not homeschooled.
not
I
homeschooled,
wasn't.
but
She went
No,
to
I
school
wasn't.
in pre-K.
Yeah, I went to pre-K.
Yeah,
I went to school.
She went to
but
public
they started teaching you the things that they learned. So you gotta.
I don't remember that though. I remember you doing Hooked on Phonics with me.
Yeah, no, they did that and I did that. They kept wanting to do that.
Yeah, until I got held back in 2nd grade.
Yeah, and then
Anyway,
mom at one point
anyway.
was like, I'm done. And she
Yeah.
just started sleeping
Well,
until
no, 'cause
10
I was-
10
That's because I was getting divorced and I had to work and it was exhausting and I couldn't do it to the 3rd child. So
Yeah, I was
Unfortunately.
homeschooled until 4th grade. She was homeschooled until like 1st or something. Second. And then you went to all through public school. You weren't homeschooled at all, right?
No, contrary to what people might think, I was not homeschooled.
my goal was to
I'm just like
homeschool
this.
all the way into high school. I don't know how I
Mom,
was
how
going
would
to
you
do
have
it.
done that?
'Cause I would have
you
gotten
could do
tutors.
algebra.
I would have gotten math tutors.
weirdos.
We would have been weird as
No, you wouldn't have.
Mom,
She would have taught us like algebra and
my
calculus the wrong
development-
way. We would
No,
be
I would
doing
have
everything
gotten
completely
tutors,
wrong.
man. Brandon, I
my
would have got the
development,
professionals to do
I
it.
feel like I turned into who I was because I went to a public
Same.
middle high school.
What a rat.
Yeah.
I mean, I had fun all of high school. I enjoyed it, and I feel like it helped me.
We had a lot of different
grow up.
types of people in our high school.
You're just saying that homeschooled
I also
kids
probably
are
wouldn't have
weird, and they're not. They're very original, unique. They
They
learn
do
to
tend to
love
be weird.
themselves way earlier. No, they learn to love themselves way earlier because they're not stuck
yeah, but
in
then
that
when you get into
traditional.
real life, you're not in real life. You
And
haven't
also, Mom,
experienced
every-
kids being
What
mean
is
to
real
you.
life to you? Real
People
life.
not being very nice all the time.
Exactly.
You can't be
You have,
sheltered
you
from
have
that.
to build a
Yes,
thick
but-
skin to
And
survive
in
in this
homeschool,
world.
it's like your
Nah,
parent is
I don't know
holding your
about-
hand the
Okay,
whole
think
way.
about this for 1 second. You're in a classroom with 30 other kids.
Mm-hmm.
In real life, where does that happen? Unless
for your
later.
fucking self.
Where in life, in adult,
Fend
does
for
that
yourself.
happen? Where are you in a room of 30 people that you have to?
That's
you're
not
so
about
sheltered
it.
now.
That's
What do
not
you
about
mean
it.
when
The
you go to
world.
work?
Time.
Everyone
Where
who
do you
goes
work?
has a
It
normal
depends if you work.
job.
If you work at Google, they're not still not even going to put you in a room filled with 30 people at once.
I worked at
Oh,
a
Mom.
restaurant. I was filmed in a room with hundreds of people at once.
And also, I feel like if you're receiving love from your home environment, I would want to send my kid to public schools. I don't want them to be a spoiled little brat. I want them to be a little freak.
I see. I
It's
don't
not
think
about
that they're spoiled little brats like
it's not
that.
about that. It's about being homeschooled. You will 100%.
We had groups,
Stop
though.
interrupting.
We
me
had
talking.
groups. Don't you remember all the groups that we?
Yeah, and they were also weird kids. I remember how
that
weird
is
they
not
were.
nice.
They
That's
were.
judgmental.
What they were.
I taught you not to do that. That's
What,
not
the
nice.
homeschool kids are weird?
I think you can be
They
just
were-
Some
and still
were
be nice.
a little interesting, and some were different.
I do
but
think the homeschool kids needed a little bit more exposure to the rest of the population.
I remember them
They
being
were-
weird.
They were a little coddled by their mothers.
Didn't something
So-
weird happen? I remember something like weird, like
yeah, I almost started a church on fire with the tornado thing. That's what was weird. Nothing was weird with the kids.
no. I
You know
remember
the
sure
only
there was
thing I remember
kids.
from
Nothing was
homeschooling-
weird with the kids.
This is the only thing I remember from homeschooling that like comes to my mind. I think of homeschooling. This is directly associated with it. This is not good.
What?
I feel bad for the woman that I'm about to say this.
What?
about. Okay. There is this woman, and I don't know if I was like seeing things or I was having like a delusion or something, but there was a lady. Please tell me if this is true. She had a mole
I remember it.
coming off of her arm.
Brandon, you're so dramatic.
That was
I don't
so
even understand
big.
what this has to do with homeschool.
Mom, the mole was so big
He's so
that it
dramatic.
was hanging from a string.
I remember Brandon
On her
telling me
arm.
he just wanted to cut it off.
I remember staring at it so hard, and like we were supposed to be like doing a science fair or something. I just kept looking
Yeah,
at this
Mom, I
lady's
see you
mole. I was
wanting to
like,
laugh.
I couldn't look
It's
away.
bizarre. And it
I
had a t-shirt.
remember.
You could like bobble it around like
Brandon,
this.
you're so weird.
Ew, that's
I
not
remember
funny because
that.
I've had stuff like that I've cut off of my body.
What?
Yeah.
That's why you're homeschooled.
Brandon, a teacher could have that, by the way. Anybody can
No,
have that.
I couldn't stop looking at it.
No, you're weird then.
Mom, we should be
I would
making
be
you
doing
feel
that
better
too. That's
about the fact
gross.
that you sent
Yeah.
us to regular school
I'm
because
sorry. I can excuse a
it made
lot.
us who we are today.
I can excuse a lot, but a
Yeah.
hanging mole.
We're having
Hello.
two conversations right now.
What?
This
So
would be
then
a
why are
nightmare
you
to-
sitting here
No,
defending
no.
homeschooling?
That's not what I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't think homeschool is a bad thing. I think
I'm not
that,
saying it's
I
a
don't think
bad
it's
thing,
bad.
but it 100% shelters you from what the real world
Yes.
actually is.
but that's why I got you guys out and about with me to like different places.
It's not
and
the
I would-
same.
It's not the same as interacting
when your mom
on
is
your
constantly
own.
with you. It's not
Yeah.
the same.
It's that's
Okay,
not
but I
real
didn't get a
life.
chance to do it until
Yeah, Mom, but why do you
what,
think?
the length that I wanted to. If I would have, then you would have ended up going and doing your own thing.
But
I
why
had
do you
to be
think
there. You were
that
too
Claudia
young.
had such bad separation anxiety from you, and I had it too? And then I started going to school, and I remember I had it, and I would be crying on the bus because I didn't want to leave.
Well, yeah, that's
And
because
then I eventually got over it.
because I abruptly had to stop.
Here's
I had
what
a plan. Okay, I had a plan.
I
My
think
plan didn't
both
work.
of them. I think both of them are terrible because I think public school doesn't actually teach kids well, and
doesn't.
I think the
Yeah, I
the
agree with that.
homeschooling teaches kids well, but then they're coddled by their mothers, which is also not good.
Private
I
school's
think
also
why
children-
can't there be
bad.
a balance where sometimes you go to like a public school
Well,
so you
that's
can
what it is
socialize
now.
like a
It
normal
could be,
human,
yeah.
and then you can go
No,
do
it's
something like
private
remember when I
school.
worked with Dad when I was younger?
Yes.
Like you do something like that.
Well,
so you
that
can
was
develop
my
normal
plan.
skills.
Child labor.
That
Hey.
was my plan.
Yeah, but
It is
I learned
not.
so much
I
doing
had
that
a
when I
few
was a
wants to
kid.
do it.
Listen, if I had a
I
kid,
didn't want to do that.
I'd probably just
No,
be
I liked
like,
it.
let's travel the world together. You don't need to learn
See,
shit.
that was one of my plans.
Yeah, but still,
Kennedy.
that's not real life.
I couldn't do it.
What are they going to do as a
I'm
career?
not sending my kid to school.
I couldn't do it. You guys, okay, first of all, you're very young. If you're very young, the parent has to stay with you. How old were you when you stopped? 9?
Stopped what?
9. You were 9.
Breastfeeding?
Could we please not talk about this today? I'm just.
What? That
You
you
were
breastfed
nine-
until you were 9?
You were 9
I think
years
it was
old.
10.
Here, wait.
I couldn't leave a 9-year-old. I had to wait at least till 12.
Moving
then we
on.
would have changed it all around. So.
Can I finish my? We
yeah,
derailed
yeah.
completely.
No.
Finish
I
your
don't
hanging
even
mole
remember.
story.
But the hanging mole story was great.
That's
Do you
disgusting.
remember that?
No,
Did you,
Brandon, was
what
I
did you-
live?
what did you
Remember.
think about this lady?
Was I live?
Brandon,
Yeah, you
how are
probably
you
had a baby.
remembering? Only me and you noticed that.
I don't even know who
Mom
it
did not.
was. Why-
This is the thing about kids.
I remember
kids
him
are
telling me
super
the story.
attentive.
Yeah,
It
Kids
wasn't
notice
here
everything.
also.
And this mole
It
was
in
dangling.
Here. It was in
She
here.
needed to get that removed.
You should have just pulled it.
Stop hating on fucking
I'm not
moles.
hating on it. I'm not saying it
we
because
can
I'm
hate
hating
on
on
moles
it.
all
I'm
we
saying
want. We're
because
literally infested with them.
that was
Maybe that would have been a
Do you want to
sign.
see my back?
Yeah, show
that
me
was
your
a
back.
cancerous
Okay.
mole.
All right, guys. One
Listen.
person needs to talk at a time. It's gonna
Here's
be
a
too
positive way of
overwhelming.
looking at it. Maybe you were envisioning being a dermatologist wanting to remove it.
No,
No.
Mom, what are you, a seer?
he wanted to rip it off. Like he didn't want to just like
Mom,
safely.
I
remove
wanted
it.
to. I wanted to chop that thing off of the
Do you
machete.
remember when I told Dad I wanted to cut the mole off of his face?
That's
Why would
wrong.
you want to do that? That was my
I
favorite
think
part
I was
of him.
like 5 and I said it. Well, I have
Seriously.
the same one.
I know.
It's just smaller.
I
but-
loved that. Warren Beatty had that.
Okay, but do you like
Wasn't that a serial killer?
Yes, of course I love
Do
it.
you notice it?
I think you should darken it.
I'm gonna get my mole darkened.
Yes. I'm serious. I really
No,
believe that.
thanks.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mom,
we're-
you do that beauty mark thing,
Yeah,
right?
and I move it around.
Yeah, I forgot to put my beauty
sometimes.
mark
Our
on
last
today.
name should have been Mole.
No,
Yeah, literally. I
that's-
have so many moles on my back.
Ew, I
It's
hate
insane.
the word mole.
I remember one time I went to
like Austin Powers thing.
do you remember when we went to that camp when we were kids?
You're gonna have fun
don't make
editing
me
this
sing
one.
the song about you.
That's
Singing
mean.
that was fucking mean, and I still tell people about that. And every
How
time
does
I
it
tell them,
start?
they're like, "This is really fucked up," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know." They were chasing me around singing it.
We bully the shit
No,
out
you're
of
not
each other.
singing it on this because I don't want people to know what it sounded like.
It's gonna be on Spotify. Somebody's gonna
The
do a
song,
remix.
That's some serious
that's
childhood
something
trauma.
that has never left my brain because I don't know if I invented it or Brandon did.
You both did. You like to work with each other. You conspired against me. That's why
That's
Mom
terrible.
was my
Mine
best
was
friend.
so good. Like it really was.
We
good,
made
you have
some
to
good
admit.
like raps.
wasn't.
It was at least creative.
We always made raps when we were younger, and
Do
they
you
were
know
always
about-
bullying.
They made fun of me for being a nerd, for having a skin mole, whatever that means, and for having skinny legs.
and for smelling like school soup.
Meanwhile, both of them had the same thing.
I know.
So they're making fun of themselves too.
Don't even make fun of me. When I got home from school saying she would call me school soap.
Oh my god!
Because I washed my hands at
She
school.
she smelled like she bathed in the school sink.
Did you actually?
No,
She would get so mad at
She would wash her
body
hands
smell-
after going to the bathroom. That's
Yeah,
all.
but you know, like the cheap soap at school.
Oh,
she
Claudia, I'm
smelled
so
like
sorry I
it.
didn't bring
That's
my
a-
own soap.
That stuff does smell really strong.
It does smell awful, but I'm like, I was a kid. What was I supposed to do? Not wash my hands?
I don't know.
And then I remember
and then
and then in middle school, I started using Bath and Body Works hand sanitizer at school. And then I would come and she'd be like, "You smell like pancake syrup." And I'd be like,
oh my
"Okay."
God.
I don't remember
I'd be like,
that.
"I don't know what
No,
it
I don't
is."
remember that.
Because you were so fucking mean to me. I remembered it all.
And why'd you just stop washing your hands after that?
I don't remember, but I just like
I'm bringing nails.
Claudia made me dislike everything about myself.
Oh my god.
God, that's not true.
It is.
Sorry.
Jesus, that's
Oh.
horrible. I didn't know any of this.
I think siblings are just mean to each
Well,
other.
I
It's a
feel like it
natural
made
thing.
up for it because when you started doing YouTube, I looked up to you about like everything.
Yeah,
Like you had better style, you had more money, you were better at makeup, you had more talent. And,
yeah,
like,
I
creative
started noticing
things.
you coming to me more for things rather than the opposite.
Well, how the
but
tables
I
turned.
think it's just when you're a kid, your little sister, it's just a trend. Your little sister is
I have a napkin.
Could you imagine?
let us suffer. When you're a
She missed
kid
her mouth.
and you have a pretty popular older sister, all you want to do is have her like you and want to hang out with you, and I guess that makes you seem annoying. And
I
so
mean, I was a little rat when I was like, I don't know, like 12 to 16 at least. I started getting better as I got older.
yeah, that was Dad's. Claudia literally was like the girl version of Dad as a teenager.
Oh, pretty much, yeah.
I still am in all of the not so terrible ways, I guess.
You've changed a lot.
Yeah, but like I feel like I'm
And
like,
also, but the thing is, you doing all of that did give me a thicker skin, and also, well,
right.
don't be proud of it. But also, I don't know. I just feel like having older siblings who weren't the nicest to you, and then getting to a point where then they want to be friends with you, and then they're fighting to hang out with you. Yeah,
Hey, we weren't always mean to you though.
you were.
No.
You especially too.
Oh,
We
no,
weren't
I would always do things with you. I would film videos with you. Probably.
Brandon, no. I would beg
That
you
was
to
when
be
you
in
were
videos.
older.
I would beg you to be in videos. We did not become like friends
Yeah.
until I was like 16, 17.
Yeah, and you were
that's how it is
lucky
for
you
most
got to be an
siblings.
actress in those films.
You barely let me do anything. I would try to go off on my own. I would try to like improv something and get so mad at me. I'd be like, all right, I'm never going to do that again.
Well, maybe you should have tried harder.
Kenny would try to get creative and do her own spin.
Literally. And that's why I ended up making my own channel because I was like, fuck y'all.
Well, I mean,
This was when we were
I
like,
didn't get included
Yeah, I was
either.
going
I
to
was trying
say,
to
this
be
is
good.
very young, and you were dads
yeah, I don't even think
So.
YouTube existed.
at that time.
No, it did exist. What are you talking about?
I think
Like
Claudia,
early
I think Claudia
stages.
took all of her anger out on me.
Probably that he gave me because he fucking bullied me too.
I did not. What the? What?
No,
why is
Dad-
it going
and then-
back to me?
And then what?
Yeah, Dad
bullied
Yes,
bullied
you
me, so
did.
just
Oh,
trickle
went down the
down.
line.
You had anger issues and you would take it out on us.
Oh, I'm
and
hearing
like,
a ringing.
what?
Sometimes I hear
And
a
I would
really,
yell at
really loud
Dad.
ringing in my head.
I'd yell at Dad. Dad would
good.
yell at you.
I know.
You would yell at her. She would yell at Kennedy.
Yeah. So basically, the root of all issues
It's me.
is our dad.
Oh, right. Because I would yell at him. Oh, yeah, I guess that is.
Mom
still.
would yell at Dad.
Why
Dad
would I
would
yell
yell
at
at
him?
You
It was just
and
a
Dad.
line.
You and Dad would yell at me.
No, I wouldn't yell at you.
Yeah.
Not as much.
I wouldn't yell
Well,
at
the thing
you.
is,
Not-
Remember
You,
when Mom-
you would, but not
Wait,
in the same
but
way.
you guys were mean to me. But Mom was. I was definitely Mom's favorite. Mom, you can't even deny it. As kids, I was your favorite. Like, don't even try. I know I was.
I didn't have a
You
favorite.
can say that all
Yeah,
you want.
right.
I
I was
didn't.
saying that I
All you
was
want.
literally constantly in trouble, constantly punished.
you
You
were
would take my
bad.
phone away.
I'm not going to
And
say
I was
that.
the
You
golden
needed a
child.
lot. You needed a lot more attention. You had other things going on.
Yeah. Well, also,
Are you saying she was special?
No,
I
not.
was disabled
I mean,
a little
yeah,
bit.
you're all special. But
She
she
had
had
invisible
a little
illness.
bit. She started out with the psoriasis really young. It was like really young. So it was like that was an issue from the
Yeah,
beginning.
and then I also
from
got
2.
bullied in school for having a skin condition, so I could never win.
Yeah,
And I was bullied
felt
for being
bad
too
for her.
skinny and for having
I just
arm
felt bad
hair.
for her.
This kid was like, I remember one time he was like, "Why do you have so much hair on your arms?" And I was like,
Because I'm a Neanderthal.
"Because I'm a
bitch.
human being."
Okay, well, I dated a boy that literally asked me why I had so many moles on my body. So that's why I was so insecure about
Hear
them
that,
for
Jessie?
so long. And
Jesse, do you like Claudia's moles?
Yeah, he plays
Yeah.
connects the dot with his tongue.
he doesn't care. Like,
Yeah.
honestly,
For real.
I don't really see them, you know what I mean?
yeah, which
Yeah,
you shouldn't.
I don't
But also,
either.
it's just like the type of thing where I was still young. I was a teenager. I was probably 15, 16 around this time. And this boy I was dating that I liked said that to me. And then I was already insecure about them because people in elementary school are brutal and they'll point things out about you and be like, what is that? So if I had to go to a pool party, I would literally wear like a open shirt so my back was covered.
What is that? Like, how have you never seen a mole?
That happened to me too. When we went to the YMCA camp.
Kids are mean. That's why I
had my shirt
homeschooled you.
off. It was terrible. I had my shirt off like the one time because they would always take us to like a pool, and this kid's like, "Why do you have bugs all over your back?"
Oh my god!
And I was like, I'm wearing a shirt for the rest of the year.
Do you remember in kindergarten I had such bad psoriasis in my head, and a kid was sitting above me, and he asked me if I had bird food in my hair. And I told mom about it. I was so upset. She had to write a letter to my teacher. And then,
me off.
you know, I've thought about this recently, how having such a horrible skin condition as a kid changed the way that I was able to be like touched and get close to people, because I was telling Scarlett about this, how I made this connection, how like I've never been comfortable people like looking at me too closely, or like never felt comfortable wearing my hair up. And it was always because of that, because that was my normal. I grew up with that and I didn't know anything else. So it was like, and people would look at it and be like, what's that? What's that? What's that? And so it was like, I would always just want to like hide. Yeah. And now it's like finally getting to adulthood and realizing that and being comfortable with like physical touch.
I think everyone has something that they can say that they remember people picking on them.
Oh my God.
Mine was acne on my face.
Oh yeah, I had terrible acne too.
And that guy that said that fucked up thing about your stomach.
Oh yeah, when I had a heavier stomach back then, but I was drinking beer.
But so fucking what?
You
but
had a
still,
stomach,
so
really?
fucking
You
what?
did?
A fat stomach?
You did?
Yeah, I mean, it was
I cannot see.
like
I
my
can't
body,
imagine
my
that.
stomach sticks out and my butt stuck out. So if I gained weight, it would go both ways.
That's the thing. It's just like,
And then I remember laying there, and I remember my sister being like, it was like one of her friends, and she was like, I thought back then always the prettier one. It's disgusting that we even have to think that way. But I was lying there drunk, and he thought I was passed out, but I heard him going, look at her fat stomach.
Oh my
And,
God.
and my shirt was just slightly up, and I'm like, so ever since then, and then my dad had said something to me like once about gaining weight. Ever since then, I like had a eating issue.
that's horrible.
Because of that, because of two men in my life.
That's horrible.
Or
Yeah.
not, he wasn't in my life, that dude, but I was
the
around him.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, you know what? And that
Two
guy,
men's
do you think he even remembers saying that? No, but that
No,
stuck
but
with
I
you for
don't
the rest of your
think he
life.
meant it. My dad didn't mean it in a bad way. The dude definitely did,
That's what I'm saying.
but
He
my
doesn't
dad
remember
didn't.
saying that.
There's no nice way to like mean that.
It's just saying,
don't
like, that's why
comment
you
on a
shouldn't-
girl's body.
That's why, don't ever comment on anyone's body, because you
And
never
gaining
know
a
how
little
it's going to
weight
stick
there,
with them.
huh? Looking a little heavier,
Like,
huh?
what it motivates somebody to say something like that?
It's weird.
Yeah, but in a way, I'm kind of glad that my dad did, because then I was more aware of it and I paid
Yeah, but-
attention. It was a very unhealthy
It should
way
be your own
that
choice.
I did it, but
It shouldn't feel like somebody's criticizing
but
you
I
into wanting to
didn't
be a certain
know.
way.
I mean, I thought I looked good, and then
yeah, and you probably did. You probably
I-
didn't have a super perfect flat stomach.
no,
but
I definitely did not.
yeah, but so fucking what? You don't need a flat stomach to be pretty.
Well, now I'm obsessed with abs, so that's why.
Yeah, trauma. That's what trauma does
And
to you.
Why?
mine was the opposite problem. I started working out and was obsessed with
you guys were
gaining
all
weight
skinny.
because people would always say, "Oh, you need a burger. Do you eat? Are you anorexic?"
I was
Right.
just telling
Yep.
I was telling some the other day how I was at a 6th grade sleepover and I was already super insecure, and one of the older girls who was intimidating and popular looked at me and went, "So you're like anorexic?"
Like, who the
I was like, I'm like 12.
Yeah, I think all three of us got that. I was like
I
90
still
pounds
get
in high
that. I
school.
still get people accusing me of having an eating
Yeah,
disorder.
everyone would always like, accuse us of being
I was
anorexic.
the weight
Dad's
in
sisters would
in
get
like
that.
4th grade. I was like the weight of like a toddler. I was like 40 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean,
How are we
you,
that
you,
skinny?
you
I look
definitely
skinny
get
as a
that.
kid.
I don't get how
You
are
got that
genetics
from
that
dad's
skinny?
side.
Like
Dad's
when we were
side.
younger,
They were all
we were
skinny.
like as skinny as you can be.
Spindly.
no,
like,
we literally
they were
looked
skinny.
starving.
yeah, we look like you didn't feed us,
Yeah.
but you did. We got fed a
Oh yeah,
lot.
we ate spaghetti every night.
I hated it. People would be like, "Oh my God, look at your wrist." Meanwhile, my wrist is still tiny.
People still
yeah,
do that.
but if
My
you look
freaking
at if you
fingers
look
are
at dad's
size
side,
3.
that's why.
Yeah, and people would always go, "You need a burger." Like that's
Yeah, I'm
our,
like,
that's
what?
everyone's thing. You need a fucking burger.
Out
I'm
of
like, dude,
all
I can eat like
things.
40 burgers and I'll still be looking
Right.
exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And
Just
because
genetics.
of being tiny,
some
I
people
had
are
no
super
muscles.
thin, and some people are.
but that's also why
Heavier.
I've never
Just the way it
understood
is.
why that like why the super skinny look is so popular in like modeling and stuff, because I do think it looks unhealthy. I would
Yeah.
like to gain weight.
I think that goes in and out. I think sometimes it's like that wafy look, and then sometimes it's heavier, and then sometimes
Yeah.
it's now they're supermodels, like super plus models, which is nice to see that they have different sizes. But I still think skinny still,
it's always going to
in,
be. It's
no
always going to
matter
be
what.
it's always going to be the standard.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, circling back.
Yeah,
Look
what
at
was the
Claudia's
original?
giant ring.
Yeah, so
The
Jesse,
nails look really
so
good
Jesse,
with it.
how much was the ring?
We're not disclosing that.
I'm gonna talk about that.
Price doesn't matter.
$4 million, Jesse? Oh my God! Wow, that's a lot of love.
$70,000.
Like
What
the
about you,
exact
Brandon?
Brandon?
number.
Diamonds
You want to talk
one
about
every
your
now and now.
relationship?
My relationship is great.
You haven't said
We
anything
just got
about
back
it.
from a cabin.
Yeah, you
Wait,
want to talk?
are we talking
Do you want
about-
to say anything
Brandon
about?
loves
No,
to
I was
say,
gonna-
my
okay.
girlfriend.
People want to know about mom and
I'm
dad
sure-
meeting for the
oh.
first time.
Oh, right.
Let's,
It wasn't-
let's,
it was
let's
about
stay
that.
on
We
topic.
It's pretty
everything,
anticlimactic,
Let's stay
though.
on top.
Well, why don't we ask Mom how she felt?
No, okay, that's what we're gonna do.
You're-
We're gonna ask mom. Well, before. So anyway, Jesse invited my dad to their like little party that they had after their engagement, and I did not think that dad was going to come.
I didn't either.
I thought he was going to bail, like he normally does.
Our dad has social anxiety.
But he came, and I was super. When he walked in the door, he got there a little bit late. But when he walked in the door and you were there, I was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be weird."
I was like,
I don't want to be around them when they like
I felt
interact.
like I was in an alternate universe when I saw them standing next to each other. I was like looking
Yeah.
at them, and I was like,
No,
my brain's
it
not
feels like a
computing.
different simulation or something. Like the simulation.
They've always
broke.
just been separate.
Mhm.
Like I've never seen you. Don't have a memory in my mind of seeing you guys standing next to each other.
Well, first of all,
I remember Cory was like Cory walks by me. He's like, "Yeah, I don't want to be around that."
yeah, you might have to like jog my memory because I might have forgotten.
whole thing. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, my parents have been divorced for like 15 years. It's been
No,
a while.
longer than that.
Longer.
Over 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom is dating a woman now, and she was there too, which is probably weird for dad because it's like
I don't think
Listen,
dad cares.
he probably doesn't care anymore. But like I'm trying to imagine like if I was divorced for 15
I didn't even
years
go
and my
there
like
for that one.
ex-wife is with a woman now, like what that would feel like. I don't know. I don't know how I would feel.
I just don't think he cares.
Yeah.
Listen,
First-
I think it's a lot more common than you think.
First of all,
I know.
Jesse
no, I
told,
know
when
it's
Jesse
common,
told
but-
me that, I don't remember how it came up with him, but because I figured like it's an engagement, like dad has to be involved. Is he going to come? So Jesse had said he invited him. I'm like, oh, you did? So I was like, okay, I'm going to text him. So, I mean, every once in a while we text each other here and there, not in more than like 3 words at a time, happy birthday or something like that.
Which
and then
even
I said
that
to
alone
him,
is amazing.
yeah, sometimes like whatever. So
Wait, can you emphasize how much you guys actually like
don't talk.
hated each other?
Oh yeah, there
for
was
so
a while.
long?
There was a while for like we really
genuinely
truly
hated each other.
truly hated each other. He's
And they
just,
would shit talk each other to us.
which is so bad. No parent should do that. And
believe in marriage.
I regret it, but I couldn't help it because he was just so horrible at one point that I couldn't help it. It was like he was trying to make my life and your lives miserable.
and I'm sure
So-
he would say the same thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah, he probably would, but we're not going to go there. I'm not here to bash him. So anyway, when I found out, I texted him and he writes back immediately, and I'm like, so I heard you were coming to, they're getting engaged. I heard you were going to come. And he was like, yeah, I probably won't make it until after 6. And I thought he was telling me that to make sure I was gone. And I'm like, well, you do realize like there's a celebration, there's a party. And, I was just like saying, I thought I was going to work out and take pictures at your house that day. So I was like, I'm sure I'm still going to be there. I didn't know it was going to be all these people. So yeah, so that was that. So he already knew like
And
I
you
was going
also
to be
said
there and
to
everything.
him how Claudia has anxiety about you guys
Oh
meeting.
yeah, and I said the
I
whole
didn't
thing.
really. It was more just I don't have anxiety about you two being in the same room. It was more when we moved in, I didn't want like unexpectedly you to just like run into each other. Like I was more like
Well, that's
at
why
least
I wrote
prepare
him.
the
I'm
both
gonna
of
be
you.
like prepared for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was another
but, like,
reason
because
why.
mom was over or was like saying she was coming over once, and I was like, okay, well, dad randomly just told me that he's stopping by, so maybe
I was
wait a
literally
little.
driving.
Because
Like I
I
was
wanted
almost
him- he
there. And
wanted
I
to
had to like
see-
stop on the side of the street and like
No, you
wait because
didn't.
of that.
You did not have to. You were so dramatic. You hadn't even left your house yet. I said,
No,
just
I was
wait a little bit
driving.
longer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
you had
you're
just
right.
gotten in the
Yeah.
car. I said,
No,
just
I
wait a
didn't
little.
want to do that.
When you
No,
have
it was
I think
more,
I said I was driving.
Listen, it was more because dad wanted to see our house for the first time, and I really just didn't feel like having it be like an awkward thing. I wanted him to be able to see it and then leave and like not be like acting all uncomfortable or feel weird when I'm trying to like show him things because like, you know what I mean? He didn't expect
Whatever.
that. So
I
it's
think
like,
it'd have been fine. Well, that's why he expected it this time. So I figured that's why he was even later. Maybe he thought if he waited late,
no, it's because
I'd leave.
No, he knew
It's
because he
'cause- well, Laura's part doesn't get off work till like a certain time, so he had to wait for her.
So it's weird because when obviously he had walked in, but I did not know it. I think my mom said to me, I don't think Aiden's coming.
You know, she said, so I guess Aiden's a no-show.
Aiden's a no-show. So I was like, no. And then Dakota's like, no, there he is right there. She goes, where? right there behind you. Like, look. And so she looks.
Like he's a celebrity.
And she turned around, she goes, oh. And then jumps up and down and goes over and I got to go say hi and hugs him. So my mom did that first. And then
because for some reason grandma loves dad.
I said, right. Yeah, she always has.
Yeah,
and then I
Grandma
said,
does. So does Aunt Mary.
I know.
I said to Dakota, oh, my sister was there. That's right. I said to my sister, do I go over? And she's like, yeah, why not? And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, I'll go with you. I was like, yeah. Come with me.
Yeah, you guys went up to him like two girls
Yeah,
at like a
come
high
with
school
me.
dance.
Yeah, I didn't want to go
Reminded you.
alone. I just felt weird. And then she came up with me and like hugged him first or something. And that's when he was like, oh, hey, and then fist pumped me. He was like, I was like, hey. Him and my sister just finished like hugging really hard. He's like, okay, you can let go now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she squeezed the fuck out
And
of him.
then we just like fist. I was
Oh,
like,
you fist bumped after 15
I was like,
years.
okay.
Gave birth to your 3 children.
Well, I mean, you know what? I would have hugged him.
He's just
couldn't look at
uncomfortable.
me hardly in my eyes.
I think-
Claudia was standing there. At one point, I looked at Claudia because I was like, I like didn't know what to do. I was trying to
She
be like,
just walked away. Mom was just standing there awkwardly, like not saying anything, but kept like looking at
because
him.
I thought I was gonna have a conversation, like talk. Like I didn't
Okay,
realize
this
he
is
was
what
that
happens
weird.
when one of your parents
No.
is super confrontational and outgoing, and the other one is the complete opposite of that, and has like we all know dad has some form of social anxiety. He's good at talking to people in a business way, he's good at talking to men.
Yeah, well, that's so weird.
Here's what I think it is. I think it's the type of thing where you think an interaction is going to be awkward, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is you don't have the interaction and you keep pushing it further and further
Yeah.
and further and further into the future.
that it seems so
Until
much
you-
bigger than it
It
is.
seems so
Yeah.
big, and by the time you actually get there, your anxiety is like pouring out all over the place.
I think
And I think that's.
I think
What
it's-
happened to him?
Listen, I
I think that happens to anyone.
I don't know
but
if dad would admit that, but I would not blame him for being very anxious about it. Like I would be nervous I would probably be very nervous in that situation. I would probably like make it less awkward, but he's him. So I think that next time you guys interact, it will probably be less awkward. I think it was just like
It makes me wonder if I wouldn't have walked over to him, he probably would have never said anything
probably
to me.
not. He's dad.
And then,
Well,
and then at that point, I looked at him and I was thinking to myself in my head, I'm like, should I take him over to meet Dakota? No, I'm
Why
not
would you
doing
do that?
because I thought that is what my normal, natural self wanted to do.
Listen.
Would be like, come meet my girlfriend.
It is so hard to imagine a world in which you two were ever together because you
Yeah.
are the two most different people.
Yeah.
I would say like the most two incompatible people now that you're both like actually, you know, real adults. Cause I think like you guys were still kids when you basically had kids. Like you were not fully formed.
But
by
he
any
was
means.
not like that, you guys. When I met him,
I'm sure he
not like
wasn't,
that.
but
He was not like that. He was very confident and like
Well,
Very
35
sar-
years will change
and
someone.
very sarcastic and rude at times, but not
no, he's
awkward.
still- no,
He's
he's
still
still
is that way.
confident.
yeah, he's still like that. I literally just think it's just the situation. Like it's just a stressful situation.
I think it's this. It's what I said. It's when there's a stressful situation, you keep pushing out, and it just gets more stressful. I don't think he's not confident.
I
Like,
also think
that's
I think
confident.
mom probably makes him nervous too.
I just thought it was super awkward. I've never seen you like that.
What, being awkward?
Yeah.
So you were watching me be awkward?
Yeah, I was too.
It was a show. I wasn't gonna look away.
Oh, I'm so glad.
1 to 10. How awkward was I? 1 being
Like 10.
For you, it was a 10.
Yeah.
really?
Like 11.
You were
I've never
making me
seen
feel
you like that.
uncomfortable.
I think I was just thinking of things like what do I do?
You just
like
wouldn't like walk away.
That's the
You were
thing,
just
I think
standing
you were
there, like,
both-
silent.
That's the thing. I think it's very normal for you both to be awkward. I would expect it to be awkward.
Yeah, you don't have things in common when you sit there and
Yeah,
chat about
exactly.
life.
How is that situation not be awkward? Like
You would have no relationship if it wasn't for us being
I don't know.
around.
I think it's so
Exactly.
weird because I don't have problems talking to people. Like
yeah,
just
but he's
about
not a
anything.
person. He's not a person. He's your ex-husband
Yeah, he's a
and the
robot.
father of your children that you hadn't seen in 10 years.
I still don't like if he would have just talked normal, I would have been normal. And then I would have
Well, yeah, you're
naturally
both-
walked away and that would have been that.
All we can hope for is that the next interaction between you two, you'll both be a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know if he will be. I have no idea.
I'm just glad I didn't film a video with you two because that would have been so much stress on me.
Next time, I'm just gonna make it very short. Hey, what's up? See ya.
All right, let's
That's
talk.
all you should have done.
All right,
Well,
now,
you're gonna see each other again at the wedding. So
now let's quickly talk about Brandon's relationship.
That's not what this episode's about.
Oh, you want to save that for a different
We
one?
can save it for a different one.
Okay.
We can talk about your relationship too.
What relationship?
You'll find out in the next
Which
episode.
one?
Should we close it out?
Yeah, it's been long enough.
Are you-
Thanks for washing. Bye.
Okay, it's not going to be that.
In most podcasts, they usually just go like, okay, I think
It
we're
just
done.
ends.
Yeah.